A rough evening at the ballpark for the Falmouth Commodores as the team drops its fifth straight game, losing tonight's contest to the Brewster Whitecaps by a final of 7-1. Welcome into another edition of Closing the Door. David Hadar here alongside with Matt Levine. Matt, tonight's game, a rough one for the Commodores. There's not a whole lot of positives, if any, to take out of tonight's contest. Just one run across for the Commodores, only 4 hits in tonight's ballgame, and another game where the offense just didn't show up for this team.
It's been the same story over 4 of the last 5 games that they've lost in a row. Last night, the only exception at Dore, putting up 8 runs on 14 hits. You'll usually win a baseball game that way. But again, you're playing the best team in the league who is just pretty much unstoppable with only 2 losses this year. And you lose a heartbreaker in the bottom of the 9th with 2 outs. That's not enough to win. That's really a stinger last night. But tonight even more so, putting up 1 run for one of the same times over the last couple of days, 3 times now over the last couple of days that they've done this in the losing streak. The offense just missing at times, and again, the only run scored was a Luke Boyer solo home run. They're not getting guys on base to even bring them around to score tonight, which was the problem. But for the 3rd time this season, they've scored all their runs in a single game off of the home run, and they've lost all 3 of those. So that kind of shows you just the ability of getting guys on base and then bringing them around to score is how they're so successful last night against Bourne, and you still lose, which is tough. But there's positives out of that, not so much today with the little amount of guys that got on.
Turn now to the pitching staff for the Commodores tonight. A good outing tonight, not a great outing from Antoine Jean, who had his 3rd start of the season, but his first here at home. He went through the first 5 innings pretty clean, had given up a run in the opening inning, but had only allowed a couple of hits, came on for the 6th, and that's where he got roughed up. He gave up 3 runs and ended up getting pulled in place of Lucas Gordon, and then Gordon gave up a couple of runs. Then after him, Levi Wells came on and gave up a run in the 9th inning. So just up and down, the pitchers tonight for the Commodores somewhat struggling.
They gave up last night 9 runs, tonight 7 runs. The starter, John, though, he was really good through 5 innings. Only a couple runs off of a 2-run homer. And then after that, it's when they kind of try to extend the starters where they just start to drop off in that last inning. He couldn't record an out in the 6th. And you pass it off to the bullpen, which really is starting to be inconsistent, I would say, because some nights we say they're so good. Some nights we say they blow the game. Tonight, they didn't blow the game or anything like that because the Commodores were never in it. But they limited the damage, which is a positive, but they still gave up some runs, which is the negative out of that. But again, just I don't know what it is, but some guys who will try to extend their outings. We saw Chase Jeter do it in his last one. He went 3 perfect innings, comes back against Brewster a couple of days ago on Friday, and couldn't get an out in that next inning, giving up 3 runs to the Whitecaps. Similar for Jean tonight, going out for that 6th inning and couldn't record an out and gave up several runs.
Well, let's try and end our segment here on a little bit of a more positive note. 4 All-Stars named today for the Commodores, 2 position players in Braden Taylor and Jace Borfin, and then 2 pitchers for them as well, both out of the bullpen, Chase Jeter and Lucas Gordon. So those 4 Commodores, the guys getting the nod to the All-Star team. There's no game this year, but at least getting that honor and getting that designation here for the league. So a great honor for them, and it was just cool to see them up on a list of such elite players.
Yeah, the best players in the country play on the Cape, and to be named as an all-star is just the next stepping stone for the 4 of them in their career as they try to make it to the next level, especially for a guy like Chase Jeter, one of the older guys, and plays at a school like Sacred Heart and then transferring from Dartmouth too, so he's never really played at the highest level of baseball the way Borfin will at Arkansas and has at Oklahoma, the way Braden Taylor does at TCU. So the 4 of them getting the nod is a positive tonight. The game, not so much, but they can go home and look at that list and see that they're one of the better players in this league with the best players in the country.
Well, Matt had an opportunity to catch up with hitting coach Brett Becker in the postgame to talk about tonight's performance. So let's take a look at that now.
So, Coach, you score 1 run tonight offensively again, which we've seen over the course of this 5-game losing skid now 3 times. Aside from last night, the offense has just lacked over the past couple of games. What have you seen from your guys up at the plate?
You know, I think baseball is a game of adjustments, and we're having a hard time making adjustments right now. You know, and the thing that I think is important is that every day is a learning experience, and you have to learn, and you have to keep fighting, and you have to just keep picking yourself up because it'll turn around. It's just it seems that everybody's in a funk, and when that happens, you have days like today and in the past 5 games where you don't score many runs. So, last night we showed some competitive fire, and we didn't come out on top, but we competed, and we just got to get back to doing more and more of that. So that's what we're looking for as a coaching staff.
And over the last 5 games, just a losing streak going. How do you kind of talk to your guys off the field before the game, maybe even after a loss like this, just to get them back on track?
I think you just got to stay positive, and you just got to keep being there and support them through the process. We're not here to yell and scream at them. We're trying to just get them better and get them prepared, and hopefully stay out of their way and let them enjoy the game like they need to enjoy it, is playing like kids. So we just got to get back to that, get out of our own way a little bit and just keep competing.
And on more of a lighter note, Braden Taylor and Jace Borfin being named All-Stars in the league. Just on the offensive side of things, what have you seen from them at the top of the order all season, really making this offense go?
They put in the time. Braden's really advanced as a hitter, and he has an understanding of what he's got to do every day. And Jace is coming off of a spring season where he didn't play a ton consistently, and he was working through some things, and he's got here and he's worked on some things, and he's made some adjustments, and he's starting to figure it out a little bit. He's starting to get more comfortable in the box, and I think he's just scratching the surface of his baseball career.
Thanks, Coach. Matt Levine closing the door alongside David Hadar. Falmouth will be at Bourne for the second time this week tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. Thanks for the time, Coach.
Yep, absolutely. Anytime.